I was standing in the middle of a busy street corner with my boyfriend Leo when he started shouting at me because I had forgotten to pick up his dry cleaning that morning. I felt the eyes of dozens of commuters turning toward us, their faces a mixture of pity and discomfort as Leo's voice reached a fever pitch, calling me incompetent and lazy. I had worked a 10-hour shift and just wanted to go home. But here I was being treated like a failing servant in front of a crowd of strangers. It was a level of public humiliation that felt like a hot physical weight on my shoulders, and I could feel the tears stinging my eyes as the world seemed to shrink down to his angry face and the judgment of the people passing by. Leo had always had a temper, but he usually saved his outbursts for the privacy of our apartment, where he could apologize afterward and tell me he was just stressed. Seeing him do it in public was a different kind of betrayal. It was a clear sign that he had lost all respect for me and didn't care about my dignity or my feelings. I realized that by staying with him and making excuses for his behavior, I had slowly allowed him to think that this kind of treatment was acceptable anywhere. The air felt thin and cold, and I could see a young woman nearby pulling out her phone, likely recording the scene that was making my heart hammer against my ribs like a trapped bird. "Leo, stop screaming at me in the middle of the street right now, or we are done for good," I said, my voice cracking but loud enough to startle him into a momentary silence. He tried to double down, telling me that I shouldn't be so sensitive and that if I had just done what I was told, he wouldn't have to raise his voice. He actually tried to grab my arm to pull me along, acting as if his anger were a justified reaction to a minor errand. I pulled away with a force that made him stumble and told him that I was done being the target for his lack of self-control. I flagged down a passing taxi and got in before he could react, telling the driver to just go as I watched Leo standing on the corner looking small and foolish as the crowd moved around him. I didn't go back to the apartment we shared. I went straight to my sister's house and spent the next 3 days blocking his calls and arranging for a moving company to get my things while he was at work. I realized that the embarrassment I felt on that street corner was the final wake-up call I needed to see the reality of my relationship. It wasn't just a bad mood or a stressful day. It was a pattern of disrespect that would have only gotten worse the longer I stayed. I spent the next month in therapy, working through the shame I felt for having stayed as long as I did, and slowly rebuilding the confidence he had spent years trying to tear down. I eventually moved into my own place and started a new life where no one raises their voice at me for a forgotten errand or any other reason. I learned that public embarrassment is often the loudest way the universe tells you that you are in the wrong place with the wrong person. I am much more confident and at peace now, and I never again let anyone treat my dignity as something they can discard whenever they feel frustrated. My life is full of quiet respect and real joy now, and the only person I have to answer to is myself. I am doing incredibly well, and I have realized that being alone is 1,000 times more honorable than being with someone who makes you feel small in front of the world.